Apple just surprised us all and announced a brand new iPhone, but the release sort of ended up being a bit of a major disappointment. In fact, Tim is facing some pretty big problems at Apple right now. Revenue is down, Apple product prices and services are going up, and there are reportedly delays plaguing new Macs, iPads, AirPods. Could Apple be forced to actually delay the iPhone 15? Sounds crazy, but at this rate, it could happen. So in this video, I'm breaking down the good news and the bad news that you need to know. Yes, we've got some exciting new leaks on some new Apple products, but also Apple has got a pretty big problem that might not only cost them billions and billions of dollars, but might just push the launch of the iPhone 15. Let me explain. If Apple history has taught us anything, it's that our favorite fruit company should be holding like a jam-packed spring event right now at this moment. We should see the debut of some beautiful new Macs, that new MacBook Air, some new colors for the iPhone, and maybe even the surprise announcement of some high-end accessories and that long-rumored headset finally making its official reveal. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it doesn't look like that's actually in the cards for the spring. In fact, it seems like Apple might have actually been forced to cancel that rumored spring event because they just can't seem to get their products done on time, which is causing some massive issues and obviously some massive delays that are really changing Apple's plans for the year. And I'll come back to that more in just a second, but first, let's break down what we should have seen at that spring event, what Apple has been working on, and when we can expect to see some new Apple products, because there is some new info that you need to know. Also, before I get the comments down below, I know that Apple can't really cancel something that they never really officially announced, but if we look at Apple's own track record, their own history, they have held an event in March or April 4 of the last 5 years, and all rumors for this year were aligning that some spring event was likely to happen. And truth be told, it still could happen in late March or even sometime in April, but even at this point, the most well-connected Apple journalists and insiders say that a spring event is looking less and less likely to actually happen. And the main reason it's looking so unlikely is because of what Apple just announced a few days ago. They just dropped a brand new color for the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus. We've got this new yellow color, you either love it or hate it, and that's about it, or at least so it seems on the surface. There is way more to this announcement than what meets the eye, and actually this tells us a lot about what Apple is planning for the rest of the year. In fact, what's almost more interesting here than what Apple said in this press release is what they didn't say, because if we read the tea leaves a bit, there's a lot we can learn. Now, presumably, if Apple was going to hold a spring event this year, they would have saved the launch of the yellow color for that event. They showed off new colors for the 12 series at a spring event, same for the 13, and it just would have made sense to do it for the 14 too. The other obvious question here is what happened to a new color for the iPhone 14 Pro? When Apple refreshed colors last year, every iPhone 13 model got a new color, Pro models as well. Maybe it just wasn't needed this year, or maybe, one of the theories going around right now, is that the color refresh was being done just for the 14 and 14 Plus, because Apple wants to desperately increase sales of those phones. The Pro phones still selling really strongly, 14 and 14 Plus, not so much. So maybe a new color will help sort of turn things around. At least that's what Apple is probably hoping for. The other big announcement slated for the spring event was set to be an all-new 15-inch MacBook Air. And originally, we had heard that this would actually come with an M2 Pro chip option. So if you wanted a super thin, lightweight Mac, you love the design of the MacBook Air, but you wanted a bit more oomph for photo or video editing, this would have been the way to go with this M2 Pro chip option. But now, as things tend to do, things have changed and the rumors are a bit different. In fact, the latest rumor suggests that Apple is not only readying some all-new models of both the 13 and 15-inch version of the MacBook Air, but they're already looking to put the next chip inside of these new Macs launching soon. Apple's gonna jump from the M2 to the M3 line in the next couple of months. But that's not even the whole story. Not only are we going to get new 13 and 15-inch MacBook Airs, probably with the same design but the new Apple Silicon inside, but Apple is also expected to give the M3 treatment to 3 more Macs sometime soon. That would be the new, obviously, MacBook Pro with the M3 Pro and M3 Max. An all-new iMac is coming sooner than later, and everyone's favorite weird Mac, the 13-inch MacBook Pro, will live another day, it will get the M3 chip, and yes, this means the Touch Bar will continue to live on, for better or worse. And for when we could see these new Macs, Bloomberg says that new MacBook Pros will come sometime next year with the M3 Pro chips. We could see the new iMac with the M3 chip. That'll be great to see sometime in the second half of the year, so maybe look out for that sometime this fall. And then the MacBook Air was supposed to be an early 2023 announcement, then it was going to be a spring announcement, then it got pushed back yet again, and now maybe sometime between now and the summer, maybe WWDC. We just don't know as of right now. And if you're wondering when we could see the new Mac Pro, no one really knows. Again, this has been hit by those infamous Apple delays we've seen over the last 6 months. It was supposed to come last year, didn't come. Early 2023, didn't happen. Now, no one really knows. Maybe June, but we just really don't know. Now, with the spring event off our radar, let's switch gears and talk about iPhone 15 for a moment, because I've actually got some good news here that you need to know. And also, again, the bad news does not stop. It continues here too. First, though, with the good news, we've got the 15 line moving closer and closer to full-scale production happening this summer. In fact, we just got a leak of the alleged front glass for the 15 series, and you can see here that the bezels on the 15 Pro should be noticeably thinner than what we have on the 14 Pro right now. Here's a side-by-side again. One's the 14 Pro, one's the 15 Pro. If you are a fan of shrinking those bezels as much as possible, you will be happy because they should be noticeable here on the 2023 15 Pro lineup. We've also got new rumors that Apple is going to upgrade the 15 Pro and Pro Max with upgraded LiDAR capabilities. Not exactly sure why, since I can't really think of a really good reason or a good use case for the LiDAR in my phone. I know that it's like used on some stuff for photography, but I feel like I never have really noticed it's there. And also, we've got an alleged spy shot of the casing for the 15 line, but according to different theories online and different people active in the Apple community, this is probably not legit and just some sort of weird old case mod. And then comes sort of a bigger point I want to make in this video, something I've discussed before, and that is the idea of Apple delaying the iPhone 15. We've seen product after product get delayed this year. So many things were supposed to happen at one point, they didn't happen until another. Is there a chance that Apple delays the 15? Is that even possible? The answer is yes, it's definitely possible. Apple has been known for one reason or another to stagger launches of iPhones by weeks or even some cases months, like the iPhone 10 back in 2017. But if we zoom out a bit and look at a bigger picture, the company seems to be changing direction. Like I mentioned a moment ago, we've seen a lot of Apple products over the last weeks and months delayed over and over again. And of course, you can't always trust the rumors, things change, but there's even more evidence to back up the fact that maybe there's some delays and stuff going on inside of Apple that weren't originally planned. Like, we've got actual physical evidence that the new HomePod, for example, should have probably come out, or at least was done and ready to go in 2022. And then remember that weird sort of Apple virtual event style video from a few weeks ago that had 2022 all over the metadata that looked like it was sort of cut out of another event? Yeah, it seems like something is going on inside of that spaceship in Cupertino. It seems like there's something causing a lot of non-stop shuffling and delays, and there's a couple of theories as to why that could be. Maybe this is just as simple as supply chain stuff and shuffling and nothing else, and that's totally possible. Apple is not immune to the changing of supply chains and stuff like that. It could be logistical issues, but maybe there's something a little bit more important here. Maybe these delays are due to the headset. Maybe Apple knows the competition is heating up in this space, and this headset has been delayed over and over and over again, and Apple just cannot continue to wait any longer. So in order to get this out, they're sort of pulling resources from every single team, iPhone team, sort of included there, to sort of get this thing done, finished, and ready to go in as little time as possible, which could lead to some other products getting some unforeseen delays because all the attention is going to that headset. And whether it happens or not, I absolutely think that there is a total, timeline here that the headset takes priority, iPhone 15 gets shifted a little bit, and maybe we get an announcement of the 15 sort of in September, but we get a launch a week or 2 or 3 later than usual. Would not be at all surprised if that actually happens. Or maybe the answer is entirely different than that, and that's that Apple is just doing way too much right now, and they've bit off a little bit more than they can chew. They've got a bunch of different products to keep updated. They've got timelines they've got to stick to. They're trying to do new things with Apple Silicon, and they're building their own custom chips. Maybe there's just so much going on inside of Apple that they just can't keep things in order like they used to. But let me make it very clear in this video before everybody comments down below, which is probably already too late, but you have to comment, retract your comment now, because I'm going to make a point here that the iPhone is still the cornerstone of Apple's business. It makes them a ton of money, and I'm sure it is critically important to them that production continues full steam ahead on time. The iPhone is a huge part of Apple's business model. Like I said, it makes them money, it makes them a lot of money, and that it will continue that way for the foreseeable future. So while other products, maybe new Macs sort of fall a little bit behind, maybe the HomePod sort of gets delayed a couple of months, while those aren't huge deals for Apple, the iPhone is a tremendous deal. It's a huge moneymaker for them, and they are going to do everything in their power to make sure the iPhone is completed and ships on time, sort of at all costs. Whatever it takes, the iPhone 15 is going to release on time. That is entirely possible, and I'm sure Apple will do everything they can to make sure that is the reality, and no one knows what potential issues might have occurred between then and now. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Apple's sort of plan moving forward in 2023? Your thoughts on the spring event? Are you happy we didn't get a spring event? Do you think Apple should just release all this stuff by a press release? Or do you think that it would have been great to get some kind of virtual event, little video? What are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's still gonna happen? Let me know down below. And also your thoughts on sort of Apple as it stands right now. Do you think they've bitten off more than they can chew in a sense? Do you think they're doing too much? Do you think they need to refocus? Or do you think they are on the right track and doing their best? Tim is doing his best at the helm, leading a, well, multi-trillion-dollar company. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. Also, on a personal note, it is awesome to see all the comments of the different emojis from all you guys who have made it to the very end of the video. I'm honestly surprised and humbled that you guys will put up with my voice for like 12 to 13 minutes. So if you made it this far, thank you so much personally here off the script. I just really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate the awesome community here. So thank you so much for all of your support. And if you made it this far, let's do the cool guy sunglasses emoji. Let's put this guy in the comments down below. That's how I know you made it this far. And again, let me know your thoughts on Apple in 2023 down below as well. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Really means the world to me. Thank you so much. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.